YouTube is LMERicoTv, man. I'm back with another video, man. Y'all see what we got going on. So I got this video reaction idea from Secret Base, the channel that posted this video about Diana Taurasi met her match and Skylar Diggins-Smith, so they had to beef. So you guys already know what time it is, man. You're brand new to the channel, or you've been watching videos on the channel but not yet subscribe, please hit that subscribe button right now. As y'all see, I'm on the grind at 7K. Also, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you guys get notified when I drop new videos. And also, don't forget to smash that like button as well. With that said, though, man, y'all know why y'all here, so we're going to go ahead and get this video started. Because I never knew they had
Skylar Diggins-Smith is a force. She's a multi-time All-Star, a decorated Olympian, and known as one of the first women's basketball players to go viral when the league was still growing in the 2010s. Diana Taurasi is also a force. She's a GOAT of the sport, also a decorated Olympian, an MVP, a double-digit All-Star, and a WNBA champion. So,
and I think got the most women's basketball awards for the U.S. So, with that said, or in general in the Olympics, y'all comment down below if I'm right or wrong about that. But I believe it is that she do got the most women's basketball gold medals or medals in general for USA women's basketball or for the Olympics in general. So you guys comment down below which is which. But with that said, let's get back to the video.
Why wouldn't you think to team these two up if you have the opportunity? No one has ever said anything bad about placing an immovable object with an unstoppable force against one another. Skylar Diggins-Smith was traded to the Phoenix Mercury back in 2020. This teamed her up with other elite players like Brittany Griner and Taurasi. It felt like a huge momentum shifter in the league, immediately opening up a contention window for Phoenix and making a first chip for SDS seem more attainable than ever. Despite this sort of super team being formed, they never got to hoist a trophy in the Diggins-Smith era thanks to beef and some troubling allegations. In 2020,
and this just goes to show y'all that no matter how much talent you have on the team, everything gotta be on point for that team to really be successful. Yeah, you might have 2 or 3 big player names on your team, but that doesn't always guarantee success. We've seen it time and time again, different sports, whether it be basketball, football, possibly even soccer. I'm not for sure, but y'all comment down below if soccer also had this same thing going on where they had multiple stars on one team but didn't pan out successfully. But anyway, back to the main point. It's everything got to be on point, whether it be the team chemistry to coaching to players knowing their roles, and yeah, pretty much everybody knowing what they're supposed to do and be doing their role to the best of their ability, pretty much. So with that said, man, if any one of those things are off or multiple things are off that shouldn't be for a team to be successful, then it's not going to work out, no matter how much talent you got. Because at the end of the day, in basketball, it's 5 versus 5 on the court at the same time. So imagine if only 1 or 2 or even 3 players is only ones playing good outside of their own whole team, while everybody else on the other team in their top 5 to possibly their benches playing good and doing what they're supposed to do, then that's what it's going to be. It's going to pretty much be 3 or 2 players versus a whole other team. So with that said, if they ain't got no backup or they're not hitting on everything with chemistry to team play, then it's just not gonna work out. But other than that, let's get back to the vid.
Season was shortened to just 22 games because of COVID. That's nothing. What made it even shorter was the fact that the playoff format at this point in the league's history was single elimination games, one and done. Phoenix got bounced in the second round of Wubble postseason hoops by the Minnesota Lynx, and that ended their bittersweet first season with SDS. In 2021, they ran it back with their big 3 and made it to the finals. But they dropped that series 3-1 to the Candace Parker-led Chicago Sky, leading to a pretty infamous post-game press conference from the Mercury.
And shout out to Candace Parker, man, another top WNBA player in history, man. She definitely been doing her thing, and she definitely got a Hall of Fame worthy career, man. Shout out to her, but let's get back to the vid.
Infamous because it didn't happen. They refused to meet with media, and Taurasi actually punched a whole ass door after the loss. Bummer for that door, but it made for an awesome prop for Chicago. So again, they run it back in 2022, but this time without Griner, who was detained in Russia for the entire season. It was just SDS and Taurasi leading the team, trying to navigate them back to the finals after such a bad loss to the Sky the previous year. And it was new head coach Vanessa Nygaard looking to coach this superstar backcourt up to the finals again and, ideally, a championship. DT and Sky are two players that, on paper, seem like they'd work extremely well together. Both guards and table setters for their teams, it felt like they could probably take the league by storm despite losing Griner. Unfortunately, since both are so good and so competitive, they were obviously going to get on each other for mistakes made on the floor that could cost the team games. And they did. In one May 2022 game against the Las Vegas Aces, the backcourt duo had a breakdown defensively that led to a few buckets for Vegas. Not the end of the world, it's literally just the second quarter and they weren't really down by much. Nothing to really be upset about here. Except, both were obviously annoyed at one another on subsequent plays on defense, and honestly, both plays seemed pretty bad on Taurasi's part. So it made no sense that Taurasi was the one getting upset with SDS in this game and on these plays. Should have probably been Skylar getting on DT for missing the opportunity to help on defense, for example, or just for her completely misunderstanding that SDS was hanging back on a transition play to defend one of Las Vegas's players that was lingering in the backcourt. After these blown plays, SDS had enough. Despite doing the "I'm gonna shake my leg to calm down" routine, which, been there, it does not work, she shot up out of her seat and got right into Taurasi's face on the sideline. A very intense scene mid-game.
And see, when you got two alpha type players on one team as well, it's definitely gonna be some chemistry issues, whether it be in the beginning or possibly towards the end of their time together on the same team, et cetera, et cetera. Some players are able to figure it out together and get it done and win, but some players, they just can't make it work, and that's just what it is. Not everybody is going to work out together, even though on paper it says they should work out together. So with that said, once you get these two type of players on one team and they get on each other's nerves to that point where they got to get in each other's face like that, it's kind of 50-50 on how it could go after that. It just depends on the players at the end of the day and their mindset going forward after a situation like that. So obviously with this one, we see where it went and it just didn't work out. Just that simple. Let's get back to the vid.
Nygaard said after the game that this was a normal thing to happen between two competitors just trying to win a game. Things got out of hand, sure, but don't give them too much flack. And Nygaard kind of has a point. This happens all the time in any sport. Kobe and Shaq, KD and Russ, now SDS and DT. When you have the best of the best competing with one another, you get friction, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But Skylar was also having issues with Nygaard in-game, just like she was with DT. So, right message, wrong messenger. In a subsequent game in June 2022 against her old team, the Dallas Wings, SDS yelled at Nygaard as they walked off the court at halftime. She said "fucking bullshit" as she passed Nygaard to the locker room, presumably about the bad end to the half. Nygaard looked confused and asked what SDS said, so Sky very clearly articulated "fucking bullshit" to her coach, who just nodded and kept walking to the locker room. Another weird incident between these two came after All-Star announcements were made. Skylar made the team.
So that's another recipe for disaster, is if one of your top players on the team that's supposed to be your captain or co-captain, whatever on the team, the leader. So if they get into it with the head coach, we done seen many players over time get into it with their head coach or something, and it don't always work out. It don't always mean, oh yeah, we can come back from this and be a big happy team again and try to win or whatever the case may be, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes that could be the start of the end for a team, their foundation, et cetera, because if they seeing their leader getting into it with the head coach, what kind of example is that setting for everybody else that's pretty much supposed to be looking up to this person that's supposed to be a leader of the team or a co-leader, like I said earlier. But other than that, man, this situation just pretty much got real bad. So with that said, let's get back to it.
DT did not. Nygaard was asked about this snub, and she was shocked. She said that there would be no true All-Star game without Taurasi there. Cool, except, you do have a player on your team going, right? Nygaard did give Skylar her flowers, but following up with that DT comment made it feel like she was calling an All-Star game with no DT a Mickey Mouse game.
So pretty much gave her a backhanded compliment at the end of the day. But let's get back to it.
Skylar responded to this comment from Nygaard very succinctly. This tweet was since deleted, but screenshots live forever. To pile onto this already tension-filled locker room, there was another incident in-game between Skylar and Nygaard, where she was seen clapping at and yelling at the sideline for the coach to take her out of a blowout.
Having a tough time.
She wasn't happy with her performance, and with the Liberty holding a double-digit lead by that point, she was ready to get out. Finally, the season ended for Phoenix, ending up with a 15-21 record, good for the 8th seed in the league. Felt like 2022 lasted a lot longer than 36 games. A season from hell without Griner, and a season straight out of a bad drama with all that was going on between Sky and DT and Nygaard. Oh, and they'd now have to deal with the Aces in round 1 of the playoffs. Fun. And SDS actually sat out during this series and was out for the last 4 games of the regular season due to personal reasons. Without her impact, they were swept in round 1 by the eventual champion Aces. So, 2023, the Mercury finally would be getting Griner back after she was thankfully released back to the US, and DT would be returning to keep adding her name to history books. Diggins-Smith, however, was still away from the team, but for good reason. She was recovering from having her second child. Without her on the floor, the Mercury started the year out 2-10. So, they fired Nygaard. While away though, Sky crept back into the public eye to drop some serious allegations against the Mercury and its handling of her pregnancy. Skylar claimed that, firstly, the Mercury wanted nothing to do with her as she was a free agent after 2023 and not able to play with the team on account of her, being a new mom. So kind of slimy, but sounds like a typical team playing hardball.
And it's like at the end of the day, what do they expect these women to do when they're in the league? At the end of the day, some of these women still want to have families, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, why would y'all possibly think it's always just going to be basketball and that's it, that's all? Yeah, y'all trying to win a championship and put y'all name in history as a successful coach or player, et cetera, of a winning team in the history books. But at the end of the day, like I said, they're all still human. They all still got emotions. They all still possibly got different life goals that's different from everybody else, that's still personal to them, that is rightfully their choice. So it's like, how do y'all get mad at somebody for pretty much having a choice they are rightfully earned, or whatever the case may be? Y'all know what I'm saying, man. But it's like, how do y'all get mad for that? I don't get it, but let's get back to the vid.
Then she said that Phoenix was not only not really acknowledging her existence, they didn't even wish her a happy birthday, for God's sakes, but they had completely cut her out. Cut her off from facilities, from trainers, from chiropractors. She allegedly couldn't use any of their resources despite her still being a member of the team. All because she, had a child? That's it. SDS says she found it odd how Phoenix was okay with her using the facility when she was away for personal reasons, but after she left the team completely, out of fear of her complications with her pregnancy, they closed her off from their resources. This garnered zero investigation from the league, by the way. which is shocking considering they had done.
And I heard about her situation too with the Vegas Aces and having this problem with the head coach as well. So it's the same thing with this one. It's like, how do y'all get mad at somebody that want to have a normal life still at the end of the day as well? They still can be an athlete as well as still be a regular person at the end of the day when they're not on that basketball court. Because when the game is done and over with and they got to retire, why would they want to possibly wait until they possibly older or old to the point where it's kind of like now you don't want to have a family or something or whatever the case may be because they're women. So it's like y'all got to think about that too. 9 to however long months they got to carry a whole nother human person inside of them. Why would y'all think they might want to wait until they're older and already retired and done with basketball to do that? Some of them might want to do this while they're still young, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a whole lot, man, to go into this, but this is not that video. But like I said, y'all pretty much get what I'm saying and so on and so forth. So with that said, man, let's get back to the vid. And the vid is almost over.
Now for Dearica Hamby and her situation with the Aces. Maybe more shockingly though, the typically outspoken Taurasi had nothing to say about these allegations. When approached with the idea of SDS returning to the Mercury on a new deal in 2024, BT moved right along.
Would you be open at all to Skylar coming back?
Next question.
You mean to tell me that
it's
the
clear
Diana
as day, it's
Taurasi,
friction
who
for
literally
sure.
kissed an opponent mid-playoff game during a scuffle, who then said after the game she was just, quote, trying to make sweet love with Simone Augustus, has nothing to say about an actually serious issue and allegation made by a former teammate? That's weird. After these allegations and after the season was over, SDS signed with the Seattle Storm, a direct conference rival. She formed yet another elite, multi-headed monster with her, Nneka Ogwumike, Jewel Lloyd, and Ezi Magbegor joining forces. The first clash between the two teams since SDS's departure was in the preseason in 2024. It was preseason, so, nothing special, but at the end of the game, SDS was overheard saying she was not shaking hands with any Phoenix players, which her new teammates agreed on, adding "fuck them" to their huddle. After that game, SDS said she feels a lot more welcomed with Seattle, and that she was just more so focused on prospering with her new team.
Exactly, and that's pretty much what she needed for sure. A team that's really behind her and supporting her 100% of whatever she got going on and being a team for real. So that's another recipe for being a successful team is y'all got everybody rocking with each other, vibing with each other, and pretty much still got the main goal in mind, but also still rocking and supporting each other when they got different goals that may be beneficial to their personal life or whatever the case may be. So with that said though, man, we see like why the whole beef is what it is right now. Like I said, I didn't even know they had beef until this video. So shout out to Secret Base for having a great video for us to react to for sure. But other than that, man, just like I said, you see why, talent on paper, it looks like it's supposed to be great and will be successful, but in reality, that's not always the case. So it is what it is, man. Let's get back to the vid because it's almost over.
BT, on the other hand, stayed with the Mercury and was still their alpha and their veteran leader. Same old, same old. Newton's second law says that in order for an immovable object to really qualify as immovable, it has to be infinitely large. Infinite can really aptly describe Diana Taurasi's career, and Skylar Diggins-Smith became the best test of immovability that Taurasi has ever seen, and probably will ever see.
And that's pretty much the end of the video, man. So with that said, man, if you guys enjoyed this video and the reaction, make sure you guys smash that like button, comment down below. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. As I said earlier, I'm on the ground at 7K and hopefully I'll hit that very soon. And also don't forget to turn on post notifications so you guys get notified when I drop new videos. With that said though, man, that's the end of the vid. I'm gonna catch you guys later on with more, so stay tuned. Peace.